Hello and welcome back to Town Yoga. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for cat and cow, a beloved and one of my favorite yoga flow or kind of pair of poses. I'm going to start by going over what's moving, kind of what's happening, and then I'm going to cue us through cat-cow poses and a flow. So we're going to think about this cat-cow flow with a focus on the movement and structure of the spine. So let's start by thinking about the spine. You can be in just a comfortable seat right now as we chat. So cat-cow as a kind of emphasis of the natural curves of our spine. Our spine is curved, and that provides some shock absorption and our ability to kind of move a bit more freely. And you'll notice that there are some main curves that you can see in the spine, and the first one I'll talk about is a lordotic curve shape that the curve takes, the name we use in anatomy. And that curve is right here in the lumbar spine, and you can see that the curve is kind of coming towards the front of the body. So that's our lumbar curve. And then just above that, at the shoulders here, is a kyphotic curve, and that's a curve where the curve is more towards the back of the body. And so in cat-cow, we emphasize the lordotic and kyphotic curve and kind of the movement in those areas of the spine. Now, these aren't the only two curves. This lordotic curve we have at the base of the spine, there's another one right here in the cervical vertebrae of the neck. So when we take a cow pose, we emphasize that movement. The belly comes forward and we kind of lift the chin, so both of those curves get emphasized. And then this kyphotic curve back by the shoulders, we have another one at the very base of the spine, the sacrum or the tailbone, where it kind of tucks under and meets the pelvis. So in cat poses, when we press and round, we exaggerate the kyphotic curve here in the shoulders and at the base of the spine. So the movement is in a tabletop, but we're just going to pause here and think about what's going on, because you really take cat-cows and other poses too. It's just the traditional base is in tabletop, hands and knees. Spine in this way so frequently in yoga and in the tabletop position for cat-cow. Well, our spine is a stack of vertebrae, a stack of bones that make this nice column along the back, and between them we have our discs, our intravertebral discs. And to keep those discs healthy, we want to keep moving gently over them on a regular basis. Cow, when we press back, say for cat pose, we're rounding and emphasizing the curve of that spine so that the bones at the back of the spine get a little further apart, and the ones at the front get a little closer together, so the bone just kind of moves a little. And that massages the disc material between it. So we kind of massage it, pinching it more in the front when we do this. And then we open up and we pinch it a little bit more in the back. And that movement keeps those discs healthy. So that's a really great reason to practice cat-cow. Now, if you're practicing cat-cow and you have pain, stop, especially if it's like a sharp pain. But when you stop, take a pen and paper and write down what movement you were doing when the pain happened, what it felt like, and where it was, and bring that information to your healthcare provider, because our spine does have a lot going on with those discs. If they're healthy, then cat-cow can help keep them that way. But if there's something wrong and you feel pain, that's a good indicator you need some medical guidance on that, because it could be nerve, it could be a disc issue. So cat-cow, if you're feeling great, it's a really good flow. But if you have pain, stop, note it, and bring that information. Your healthcare provider will be so happy to have that info that they can better help you with. It's not just to keep the discs healthy that we do cat-cow, so it also brings some really nice movement into the muscles and the kind of fascia, the outer tissue that runs along our spine here. So we move through the cat-cow flow, we keep that tissue nice and healthy and maintain our range of motion. it also tilts the pelvis, so the base of the spine meets in with the pelvis, and so cat-cow will also tilt our pelvis and keep a healthy range of motion there. It's also one of the reasons cat-cow is a little funky sometimes, because you are moving your pelvis and your bum is in the air, but if my middle school students can get over the awkwardness of cat-cow in PE class, then I think you can as well. Also, another great benefit is the stress relief that it can promote. So when I start cueing cat-cow in just a few moments here, as we go through the flow, I'm going to start encouraging you to link your movement with breath. So when we come into the cow spine, when we emphasize those lordotic curves, we're going to take a nice inhale. And then when we go to our cat spine, where we emphasize the kyphotic curves, we're going to go ahead and exhale. And by linking your movement with the breath, you actually can help calm your nervous system a little bit, which is a really great way to manage stress. So those are just some of the benefits of cat-cow and kind of some of the movements that we're going to be looking for and feeling. And so now let's go ahead and try it out. Clear a space for yourself on the ground. A yoga mat is great, but not necessary. You just need somewhere where your hands won't slip and maybe a bit of to keep them nice, happy, and healthy. And in tabletop, you have the option with the knees under your hips to rest the tops of your feet down or to tuck your toes if you prefer. That's your choice. And then our hands, we want nice active hands that press us away from the mat. And your pointer fingers are going to be pointing to the top of your mat, and the fingers kind of spread around that. And then your shoulder is just going to come generally over your wrist here. So in a nice healthy tabletop. And let's start with the cat spine. Remember the kyphotic curves, those are the ones between the shoulders, and that's going to move up to the ceiling and the very base of the spine. So go ahead and press and kind of round the spine. Start with a small movement. Just press a little bit away, emphasizing the rounding shoulders and kind of tucking tailbone. And pause here for a moment. And then we're going to take the opposite motion. We're still pressing away from the mat. And you're going to let your belly start to slowly lower down, emphasizing the lordotic curve as the belly button comes closer to the mat. And the same in the cervical spine as we lift the chin. And now with breath, exhale, press, and gently round into your cat pose. Inhale, still pressing, but let the belly come down and start to lift the chin for cow. Exhale. Inhale. And take your time to just feel the flow out a little bit. Notice the movement of the spine from the very root at the base all the way up towards your head. Continue to flow here. Shoulders kind of draw back as you lift the chin. Lengthen the front of your neck, lifting you up, and you might feel a slightly deeper lordotic curve. Exhale, start to press around a little bit more. Let your chin come closer to your chest, and you're going to feel more of a curve through the shoulders. And now, at your breath, just exploring for a bit here. If you do notice that you have some discomfort either in the ankles, the knees, or the wrists particularly, then I invite you to check out my Yoga for Absolute Beginners course, where I have an entire lesson on how to be comfortable in tabletop with hands and knees here, with modifications and kind of the structures and functions there. So if there's anything bothering you in this pose and you want to be able to practice it with more information, then enroll in my Yoga for Absolute Beginners. It's a great course. Let's take a moment to hold on either end. So let the belly lower down, shoulders kind of draw back to the bum as you lift the chin. Hold for a moment. Inhale. And then as you exhale, press and round and hold it here, letting the shoulders round up, the tailbone kind of tuck under, and the head relax. And then you'll just look forward and walk your hands on back so you can find a comfortable seat. So that's our tutorial on cat-cow. If you're feeling a little bit warmed up now and you want to get into a yoga practice, I'll link a few at the end of this video. One great one would be a practice that focuses on strengthening the side of our torso, because you'll be able to give your wrists a little break. You're already a little warm here, so some strength would be great. And it's another practice that's really good for managing lower back pain and hip pain, which might be what brought you to this cat-cow tutorial to begin with. So I hope that you check out one of the practices, and I will see you there.